On today's show, we are doing the 53-man roster projection from what I think after watching OTA's minicamp, training camp, preseason 1 and 2, who I think is going to make the roster at this point. Before we do that, though, let's get to 300 likes in this video. It's really easy to do, so smashing the like button pushes the content out there, and it helps. Let's get this thing started. Let's start with the most important position on any team, and that's going to be the quarterback position here, and this is who I have making the roster for the quarterback position. Jared Goff obviously is the starter here. Hendon Hooker will jump Nate Sudfeld and be quarterback 2. He has shown a lot of flashes in preseason, a lot of growth since he has been here. He has command of the offense. Nate Sudfeld, well, he's not making the roster. Now, he could be on the practice squad, a guy is a reserve role, but there's absolutely no reason for this man to be quarterback 2, and Jake Fromm was just a hand. Again, we look at Hendon Hooker physically, his attributes, everything that he brings. It makes his ceiling much higher than Nate Sudfeld. It's not even close. The offense looks completely different when he's on the field, and he has shown mad growth. And yeah, he's 26-year-old backup, but he's a cheap backup, and we talked about should the Lions pick up another quarterback. I think with his growth just continue to show, you just might as well just keep him right there, make him quarterback 2, because he's going to need any sort of reps that he can get. And hopefully when it comes to, this next preseason game, Hendon Hooker is taking a majority of the reps and he starts the game. That's what I'm hoping for. So what do you guys think? Who is your quarterback 2? Put AH for Hendon Hooker. Put NS for Nate Sudfeld. Let's get into the good old running back position here. And I think the Detroit Lions has got the best running back field in depth chart in the NFL, all 4. Jahmyr Gibbs is your unquestioned starter with David Montgomery. They're 1A, 1B, whatever you want to put it. Craig Reynolds and Sione Vaki. They're RB3 and RB4. Again, you can mix them up. It doesn't really matter. What I'm hearing is the coaching staff is leaving Craig Reynolds right now, RB3. It doesn't really matter. These guys are going to get playing time. Donovan Knight not making the team. Jamar Jefferson and Jake Funk as well not making this team. But it doesn't mean it's bad for Mr. Donovan Knight, because I think he has a real chance to make the practice squads. Him and probably Jamar Jefferson as well are practice squad candidates. If there's an injury to one of our running backs or starters, you can always bring one of these guys up to make this room good to go. But I feel like Donovan Knight proved enough this past preseason game to make the practice squad. It's a hard room to make. So I know he's wanting to make the roster, but man, we are very talented. So I got a question for you. Rank the Detroit Lions running back room. 1, if you think it's the best. 32, if you think it's the worst. If you're trying to go to the Lions preseason game, this is the final one. It's at Ford Field. You need to get game time. They have killer deals, last-minute tickets, and lowest prices guaranteed, where you can stop stressing and start getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. It is easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, whether that's sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, or whatever. With their lowest prices guaranteed, that is the game time guaranteed, which means you're always getting the best prices. And if you find tickets in the same area section or less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals for tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. And in the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a great feature. It shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the surrounding area like a 3D live photo. So download Game Time, plug in chatsports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, you get Game Time, go to the redeem code section, plug in chatsports, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. You got to create an account, got to have an email to save that money. The link is going to be in the comment section and description of this video. So if you are buying Lions tickets this year, it's really simple. Get Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Let's jump into the tackle position here for the Detroit Lions. I have, obviously, Taylor Decker is going to be your left tackle. Penei Sewell, your right tackle. Dan Skipper, I do has reserve tackle, and that's probably really going to be for left and right. Colby Sorsdale is going to be left tackle 3. He could be right tackle. Just depends. And then Giovanni Manu, it says RT2 here. I put his RT2, but he is more like RT5. Why do I say this? He is going to be the Broderick Martin of this offensive line, where he's probably not going to get any snaps this year. He is a player in development. So once he's developed, then you can count on him. But at this point, he's just not that. So you'll have Colby Sorsdale and Dan Skipper taking on the tackle positions. Let's go ahead and jump in the guard positions here. I have Kevin Zeitler, Graham Glasgow, and Frank Ragnow's guards. I put him at center. Kayudo Wusaka and Christian Mahogany will be your backups. A lot of injuries that occurred so far in the interior of the offensive line in preseason, but I am very comfortable with these players as your backup. Christian Mahogany has not played yet because he was sick, but what a good pickup I felt like in the draft. He's going to need development because he missed a lot of training camp, but that's okay. He'll get that. And Kayudo Wusaka is an individual who I feel like has been doing a decent job. He was last year. I felt like he did a pretty good job, and that's what you can ask for here, folks. Let's go ahead and get to 300 likes in this video. All you got to do is hit that like button. It does help out. Smash it right now. Let's get to 300 likes. Let's jump to the wide receiver battle here, and I only got 4 wide receivers making this. Now, I know we're going to get into what this is taking place here. I got St. Brown, wide receiver 1, Jameson Williams, wide receiver 2, Kalif Raymond, wide receiver 3, Donovan Peoples-Jones, this is going to be an interesting, as wide receiver 4. You know I liked Darius Fountain, but he'd done nothing in preseason. Caden Davis, he showed some. Maurice Alexander, Tom Kennedy, and Antoine Green's not even on here. It's Isaiah Williams, right? A lot of people's going to say, why isn't Isaiah Williams on here? I'm not the one doing the 53-man roster. I'm projecting it. And he is a slot type of receiver. That's where he gets a lot of his yards. And the Lions are looking for an X. Now, just because Donovan Peoples-Jones is on here doesn't mean he'll end up being wide receiver 4. Because look what he did last year. 2 receptions, 31 yards, 0 touchdowns, 15.5, and that was with the Lions. Career, he's had some good moments. But this is what I've been saying about the Lions for some time, is I do believe that wide receiver 4, the legit wide receiver 4, is not on this roster at this point, and the Lions are going to pick him up, whether it be cuts and or a trade before cuts. That's kind of what I'm going with right now. So that's just what I'm thinking it's going to be, and you could see Robert Woods or somebody else, but the Lions don't have that wide receiver 4 on the roster, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and jump into the tight ends. This one is interesting because I actually went 4 tight ends instead of 3 here. Sam LaPorta in question number 1, Broderick on question number 2. I initially, when I first started before training camp, I didn't have James Mitchell making this roster, but him and Shane Zylstra were exactly the same, I thought, in preseason. So I'm going to take the younger player. So I'd put James Mitchell there. Parker Hesse is considered, quote-unquote, a tight end. Extra blocker, he plays fullback as well. That's why I went 4. And just think about this. If the Lions do add another tight end, if they add another wide receiver, they can simply remove one of these tight ends. So that's a possibility as well. Just because they're on here initially doesn't actually mean they're going to be on there the whole time. But it is a tough battle because of who are in there. Let's jump to special teams. This one's really easy. Jack Fox will be your punter. Jake Bates has won the kicking battle by himself. And Scott Daly will be your long snapper. Not much to really talk here. So we're just going to go ahead and jump to the defense right there. Defense, it's going to be interesting going forward and who is going to be doing this and how it works. We're going to jump with the defensive tackle position first. And I got a Lee McNeil making this roster. Obviously, DJ Reader, he hasn't played yet. That's fine. But Levi Uzurike, he's making this roster. And Kyle Pico as DT4. Broderick Martin is DT5. And Makai Wingo, DT6. He's like, Mike, why is Kyle Pico on here? Because DJ Reader's not healthy at this moment. I think as soon as DJ Reader is activated, probably Kyle Pico goes bye-bye. And then it'll be Broderick Martin as your DT4, and it will be Makai Wingo as your DT5. Man, the Lions' defensive tackle position is solid. And oh man, I think this is extremely upgraded from what was last year. Levi Uzurike taking this step forward. DJ Reader when he's healthy. Wow. Lions got really good on the interior of the defensive line. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Let's get to the edge position here. I got Aiden Hutchinson, obviously, is your edge one. You could put Marcus Davenport, Josh, at edge two. We just haven't seen anything yet. Joshua Pascal and James Houston. And I have Mitchell Agood making it two as well. I feel like he has done enough to make this roster. You can say, why is it Matthew Betts on there, Mike? Or Isaac Ukwu, John Kaminsky. I just feel like the upside is a little bit higher with Mitchell Agood, and that's kind of what I'm feeling with what they're going with. And John Kaminsky's placed on the IR, so that's why he's not on there at this point. Now, if he gets added, back the roster later in the season, they can always drop somebody. Question for you: how many pass rushers will the Lions have on this roster? Take a guess. 4, 5, 6. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get to the linebacker position. This is the easiest battle here. I think it's like with RB4. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Jalen Reeves-Maybin, all making this roster. This has great depth at the linebacker position. They've done a phenomenal job here with LBs in the last couple of years. Good to see. Let's get into the corner battle here. Carlton Davis will be CB1, Terrion Arnold, CB2. Amik Robertson will be your nickel corner for the Lions, and boy, oh boy, he's looked magnificent. Ennis Rakestraw back up in here as well, looking good. Khalil Dorsey, phenomenal, and Kindle Vildor done a great job in the last couple preseason games. I got to say right there, that's a really good cornerback room. It sucks, obviously, you don't have Emmanuel Mosley on here because I got injured. But that said, Kindle Vildor is your last corner on the roster. That's pretty good. And, I like Stephen Gilmore, but he hasn't shown anything in preseason. And he's shown more last year. I don't have him making the roster. Let's get to this safety position here. This one is nice more. I got Brian Branch, safety 1, Kirby Joseph, safety 2, Futu Melfon, safety 3, Brandon Joseph, safety 4, and CJ Moore, safety 5, even though he's more of a special teamer. What another great position for the Detroit Lions. These guys are stacked at the safety position. The Lions defense is so much improved from what was last year. We've seen it in preseason, the improvements, and it's for sure looking really, really nice right now. So I'm happy to look at the Lions 53-man roster. It's nice. Folks, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Why is that? Because we are dropping news and rumors every single day. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. Adios.